Hey guys, this is Matt here, and I'm doing a comparison video of a couple of smartwatches that are out on the market right now. We have first the Sony Smartwatch, and then we have the Motorola MOTOACTV here. And I couldn't find any good comparison videos of the two, so I figured I'd make my own. So you can see just by looking at the two that they're much different in size. The MOTOACTV is a lot bigger than the Sony, especially if you look at screen size. If I turn them on, you can see the MOTOACTV's got a much larger screen, and the Sony much smaller and lower resolution. So these two watches are pretty different, so I'll go through kind of some of the differences. I'll start with the Sony. So here you can see this is kind of basically how the watch looks. It's pretty well designed. It's got this clip. It's basically just one huge clip, kind of like an iPod Nano. It comes with this rubber black strap, which is okay. It's pretty comfortable, but nothing too special there. And then this is the actual device. It's got this brushed aluminum look around the edges. Just got one button, and it can clip on. You can clip it onto your clothes, or you can clip it onto something, or just clip it onto the watch band itself. The cool thing about the Sony is that it supports any 20mm band. So if you want, you can, they give you this little adapter here that lets you put any band on it. So I went and I put a solid stainless steel band on it, and it actually matches pretty good. If you snap that on there, it matches pretty good. Now with the Motorola, it also has this watch band, but it slides off. It's pretty sturdy on there. There it goes. So you can slide it off of the band, and this is what the device looks like. It also comes with a belt clip that you can also slide this onto, and you can clip it under your clothes or however what you want to do. But so this is the device. Again, it's pretty good amount larger. There's a thickness comparison with the clip. Unfortunately, this clip is a permanent part of the Sony watch, and also it's even just to charge it requires using the clip. So to charge the Sony watch, you have to use this proprietary Sony cable, and it kind of just clips in line like that, and this plugs into any standard USB charger. With the Motorola, you have just a standard, a standard micro USB port. So that's pretty convenient. You can use any of the chargers you have lying around. You probably have a million of these, so you can use that for charging and for hooking it up to a computer to transfer files over. So another important thing to note about the difference between these two is the Motorola has built-in storage. It comes in a 16 gig or 8 gig model, so that means you can play music from it. It's got its own headphone jack here, which has this little cover over it. Regular 3.5mm headphone jack. It also has some extra buttons. It has a screen on-off button, volume buttons, and on top it has a dedicated music button and a start button, and that's used to start any kind of workout you want to do. So I should go back and mention that this Motorola is not so much designed to be a smartwatch. It's more designed to be a fitness tracker. And I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video on the fitness tracking capabilities, which are pretty impressive. Maybe I'll do another video, or there's other videos that you can look at to check that out. I'm mainly going to focus on its capabilities as a smartwatch. So on the Motorola smartwatch, the smartwatch portions is this notifications area, and basically it'll show you your text messages, incoming calls, and calendar reminders. So it's actually pretty limited, and the messages only works if you use the standard messaging app. At least that's how it was working for me. So no email support here. No custom notifications out of the box. So the Sony is much more geared towards being a true smartwatch. It's pretty much useless without a smartphone. It can't tell you anything. It's pretty much a full slave to a smartphone. So when you turn it on, and there's different ways you can turn it on. You can use the button on the side, or you can, when it's off, you can tap it, and the accelerometer will wake it up, or if you shake it really hard, it also wakes up. So if you tap it once, it takes you in, and you can see here is a list of all your apps that you have. And these apps you all install from the phone. There's like a app on the phone which manages all of this. So you can have like your phone book, which shows you like your favorites, where you can initiate calls, which you need, to take the call using your phone or a Bluetooth. This doesn't have a microphone or speaker or anything. It has a Spotify remote, which is pretty nice. It lets you skip songs and tracks and shows the album art on the screen. A standard music player, missed calls, call handler. This status viewer is kind of nice. It shows you your Wi-Fi and other mobile network status, battery status. There's a mode changer, which is cool. You can change, from ringer to vibrate or whatnot on your phone. Find phone. If you lose your phone, you just launch this and it'll make your phone start to ring, and it's easy to find it. GPS map, which kind of works with Google Maps. It shows you the map of where you are, which is pretty cool. Not so useful. I rarely use it. It's more just to like show people, to kind of show off, basically. There's a quick calculator, which is pretty simple, not that useful. The apps that I mainly use on this is actually this app here called Watch It, which allows you to send any notification you can think of, any notification that your phone can receive. You can shoot it to this watch. And so here on the bottom you see all your list of apps. If you swipe down, this is where you can store widgets. And here I have like an events widget. It grabs all of my notifications. Here it's just a music player widget. So if I jump into this, for each notification here, it shows you how many notifications you have pending that you haven't viewed, and which one you're on, and a little progress bar so you can swipe through them. And so you can actually scroll here and read, the entire notification, which is nice. As far as customization of the watch faces goes, on the Motorola, if you go over here to settings, you can play around with, if you go into here and display, you can change the brightness and whatnot. Theme, you can change the colors from red over to blue. Let's see how that does. So now it's blue instead of red, so that's kind of nice. So if you click directly on the watch face, you can also change how it looks. So they have all these different clocks built in, so you can try them out and see. You can go in and customize it to look the way you want. They got the skull clock, so you can play around and see which one you like. Now on the Sony, this is the standard clock, but if you want to change that, you've got to bring your phone into the picture. So this is the Sony Smartwatch application, and you can go into clocks here and you can change it. There's 3 different clock options. Now this clock that I'm using right now, as you can see, the screen shuts off after a while, so the clock doesn't always stay on. These 2 other clock options allow the clock to stay on all the time. So if I switch to that one, then it should switch over. So now it has this little smaller clock, digital clock, which will move around on the screen each time the minute changes, but it will never shut off. It'll stay on all the time. They also have this one, which is kind of nice. I like it. It's very minimal, and it's just those 2 hands, and it actually looks pretty cool at night when you have it on like that. People will notice it and say, oh, what's that? So those are the different clock faces currently available on these watches. Now another thing you might be asking yourself is, okay, how do these watches even tell me that I've received some new notification? So the Sony does not have any notification LEDs or anything on it, where the Motorola does. It has this white LED that blinks right above here. If you receive some kind of notification, that'll be flashing. The Sony has a built-in vibration motor, which is really nice. When it's vibrating on your wrist, you definitely notice it, and it lets you know that there's a new notification. Unfortunately, the Motorola doesn't have a vibration motor, so that's like kind of a downer, because I really like that feature about the Sony. You might be wondering also how these watches actually look on your wrist. So I can show you first the Sony here on the standard band that it comes with. So it's pretty good size. It's a little smaller than most watches that I would wear, but and I have pretty small wrists, but you can see there kind of, you know, how it looks on a hand. And then for the Motorola, I can slide this back on here. Much bigger watch. So and actually I can talk about the band here. The band on the Motorola, it's actually got these 2 clips here. So when you put it on, you stick it through both holes, and then it has these 2 clips that punch through to hold the excess band in place. So that snaps in there, and then the holes just snap in, and then that's how it looks. So this is a lot bigger on your wrist. Doesn't look as elegant, you know. It's like definitely there's some huge piece of technology on your hand. But after wearing it for a little while, I definitely got used to it. And actually, when I went back to the Sony after this, the Sony felt really tiny. But that's pretty much how it looks on your hand. I'll also give you a look of how the Sony looks on a metal band. So it makes the watch look a lot more like, you know, like a real watch. And this is the way I wear it normally. So it blends really good with this stainless steel band. And yeah, that's pretty much how it looks. Here's another shot of the 2 devices next to each other, and here's a standard regular quarter, just to give you a little bit of scale on how big these devices actually are. So here they are again, side by side, and just one thing I wanted to mention is that I talked about the Sony being just kind of a slave device, requiring the phone. Without the phone, it's can't do anything. The Motorola is actually a full-powered Android device. It's running a full gingerbread operating system there. So of course the hacker community is very active, and they were able to figure out how to load, get to a full-blown gingerbread Android experience on here. So this Motorola software here is just a launcher sitting on top of gingerbread. And so if you root your device and install a custom ROM, you can actually have full-blown Android on here. And here I have, a custom launcher with, widgets and all of that, calendar there. You have some launcher apps here. You can do swipe gestures to your whole list of apps. You can do swipe down and see your notifications and everything. So this is a whole nother aspect of the MOTOACTV that makes it a little more compelling because of the power that's there. I'll do a separate video talking about what kind of things you can do in this mode. But it's cool because you can still just go right back to the original Motorola. So you can have both of these running simultaneously. So check out my other video where I'll talk a little bit more about the customization and powerful capabilities you can do with the MOTOACTV in this alternate mode. Thanks.